quarterback play this year was maybe a half step better than last year, but still not good enough. Inaccuracies and inconsistencies really killed both guys who played major snaps, both Perry and Williams. And again, both had highs. If you look at the Virginia Tech game for N'Kosi Perry, if you look at the Louisville game for Jaron Williams, those are great games. 400 yards and 4 touchdowns for Perry against Virginia Tech. 6 touchdowns, an ACC record, or tying an ACC record and a Miami record for Jaron Williams against Louisville. The highs were there. It was the fact that we saw enough lows to balance that. It should have been, if you're good to great consistently, or just great all season long. Shout out to Joe Burrow, who looked like dog trash when we saw him at the beginning of last year. And he was very average last year. Honestly, he was
that bad.
Joe Burrow was average. He was 58% completions, 2,900 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Game manager.
Those were the
average.
Yeah,
right.
He was also in a certain offense.
But you look at him this year, and he's a world beater.
The first week of August.
Right.
I get your point. Yeah,
right.
He's
my point is
years away from what he was last year.
Correct.
Absolutely.
But and I say all that to say, even for somebody who was average last year, he was great every time out this year. There was no Virginia Tech Jaron Williams game from Joe Burrow. No 3 turnovers in the first 12 snaps. Followed by and then the 4th turnover on 13 snap was on N'Kosi Perry's first play to Mike Harley that fumbled. You didn't have not one of those games from Joe Burrow. And that's where I'm not even necessarily obsessing about Joe Burrow, the player, but just the way that the season went. There were peaks and valleys. I mean, it was like the top of Mount Everest and the bottom of the deepest ditch in the ocean for Miami at quarterback this year. And you cannot be the variation or the variance between performance from week to week and a throw to throw and a play to play and a whatever basis. The variance cannot be that wide. You can be bad, but not terrible, not game definingly bad. But yeah, just Miami, it was not consistently good enough. And I will put that on quarterback and I'll put that on everyone. It was not good enough.
National Signing Day coming up in 6 days. Somebody's looking for the defensive end rotation, thinking that it's going to be different for the bowl game than it has been for the regular season.
It will be because Jonathan Garvin and Trayvon Hill have both said that they're sitting out the bowl game. So you're taking your two of the starting caliber players off of the rotation. G15 Gregory Rousseau is going to start. You're probably going to see Scott Patchen into some bigger snap numbers. You're going to see Jafari Harvey, I think, the true freshman, has one more game before he exhausts his red shirt. So I think he can play in the bowl game and be safe on that. So you'll see him. Cam Williams is on an academic red shirt, this year. So he's not playing. So yeah, I think you're really going to have, is there somebody else I'm missing? So Russo, Patchen, maybe move some guys around a little bit. Maybe Pat Bethel, goes outside a little bit. No, that's really it. And I mean, maybe you take a linebacker and put his hand in the dirt sometime. Sam Brooks, he was an edge rusher in high school, so maybe you let him go get after the quarterback once or twice. But I mean, yeah, it's going to be a different rotation because you're going to take those 2 guys off the top. So it will be a little bit different.
Everyone hit that like button. It helps us.
Please,
we understand that has something to do with getting the videos in the suggested videos column, which apparently plays with the psyche of most YouTubers. You go to the suggested videos. I know that I do.
Absolutely.
People do. They're the suggested videos. They're right there in front of you. So oh man, that looks interesting.
Yeah. I'm looking right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, out of the 20 commits, I know Willie Moise, he said he's not going to sign early. I don't know if Quentin Williams is or is not going to sign early. So out of 20 guys, that means 18 at this point we're probably expecting to sign. And then if you were to get a Jaden Francois or a Justin Flo or a Darnell Washington or a Keyshawn Green or I don't know that there's many other targets past those guys, but maybe, one of those other guys, you could bump that up into the 20s already, which, makes my life a little difficult because I'm trying to have a recruiting notebook ready for each of those guys that Miami signs next week. And I'm pretty behind in the weeds. So I'm just going to be up all night writing because I got to get caught up, and with that and other stuff. So, yeah, I think the vast majority are going to sign this week on Wednesday. And we will kind of reconvene after that, because once you get those signatures in, you see where the class stands, then you can kind of regroup and say, okay, who's still out there, who might be taking visits, who may be a guy elsewhere who had their offer pulled for whatever reason right before they signed, whether it's a new coaching staff, whether it's a hesitance to sign early or whatever it is that Miami maybe could go after. So, like I said, it should be the majority. So 18-ish, depending on if the uncommitted targets sign. So we'll say, somewhere around that 18 number, maybe a couple more, and then we'll circle back after that.